Hey everybody, it is September 1st and we're excited to put together the pick video. We know that everybody has been anticipating this day for a long time and the pups are doing great. We've just had them out playing and they're all tuckered out taking a nap, which is a perfect time to tell you more about them, and we will share our observations about their personalities and give you an up-close look at them again and give you as much information and details about them as we can. So we'll share with you our observations about their personalities. At this point, this is what we have seen from them over their last couple of weeks of life, in the time that they've really started to manifest their personalities, but it's not a real crystal ball as far as what they will become, nor is it a manifestation or an obligation for their personality in the future. So everything that we'll share with you is one of those things where we'll do our best to share these details, and then we'll trust you to raise them right and let them become the dog that they can become in their future life with your family. So we will start with the girls. I have my list and it's got my notes on it, so I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to go from the top to bottom on the list and share these details with you. So first we're going to start with Pink. We've got little Miss Pink here, and at birth she was 0.77 pounds. And I'm going to be the mean guy and wake you up for a minute. Is that okay? Yeah, it is.
Look
okay.
over here at the camera.
It's okay.
There you go, sweet girl. There you go.
So Pink was 0.77 pounds, and here at 5 weeks old, she is 3.5 pounds. And their markings go through, well, their coat goes through a couple different phases while they're with us. And so at birth, they have what we call their newborn coat, and there's a lot of detail on the coloring of their coats at that time. And that coat changes over to what we call their newborn coat, which is what they have right now. It's very soft, it's a little bit longer, but also very thin, especially on their chest and belly area. So we actually lose visibility on some of their markings during this phase. And then they will go through kind of an adolescent coat where that starts to come back.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
And then their adult coat.
What you can see right here is not a marking. It's a little tricky on the camera to tell that, but that's actually just skin.
Yeah.
That's not a marking. So right now it's really hard.
It's just the cowlick right there on her chest.
Yeah.
So anyways, so we'll tell you about what we can see right now with their markings, and then we'll kind of touch back to their newborn video and mention what we saw when they were just born with their earlier coat. So she's just being very patient with me right now, huh?
She's tired.
Just sitting there. They're all tuckered out. They're just a little bit on the cool side. We had Hurricane Ida, the trail of that storm, come through, and we really cooled off, which has been very nice.
It's been like a 20-degree difference overnight.
Yeah, so it's cooled off a little bit. The pups are used to it being a little bit warmer, so they're not super acclimated to high 60s temperatures right now, but they're still doing fine. So at birth, she had the solid chest, and what we could see from the underside of her paws seemed like there may be some white there, but we're not seeing that now. The groin markings are completely gone. Not that they will stay gone, but it's just not visible at this stage of their puppy coat. They just have this kind of bald belly area, and so we don't see much of that at this time. Pink gets the award for being the darkest female of the girls, and personality-wise, she's kind of a middle-of-the-road personality. She's not timid or submissive. But she's quite a happy little puppy. I don't know if you could tell in the videos, she's got a little bit of a zippy personality. she likes to dance and prance around when she's up and going. So she's very entertaining to watch play. So she's got a lot of zest in how she interacts with the other puppies. So she's just a really fun, cute puppy, huh? So a little bit darker, and 3.5 pounds is Miss Pink. So our next gal that we'll share with you is going to be Teal. And I'll be the mean guy again. Sorry, Teal. I'll let Miss Pink go back to sleep. Snuggle by her sisters. So Miss Teal at birth was 0.7 pounds and now is 3.88 pounds. She has the solid chest. We're not seeing any new markings, but again, she's got the puppy coat that's hard to discern at this time. And so we're not seeing anything on her neck either at this time. So color-wise, she's a little bit, tiny bit lighter than Pink, but she's not a really light colored pup. Pink just happens to be a little bit darker shade, and Teal and Purple are very close, very similar in color. And so she's middle range as far as coat color goes. Teal wants to lead, and I will mention here that Purple is kind of the leader of the group, and one of the leaders of the group. Teal tries to lead. We've seen Teal take charge and put Purple in her place on more than one occasion. But Teal's a middle of the road personality, but she's not necessarily submissive or the more assertive of the bunch. And she's kind of shivering.
Is it a
You're
little
okay.
chilly today?
A little bit chilly, tiny bit of a breeze coming through, and the rain just finished, and so it's just a cool afternoon here. If we had a little bit more sunshine out, the pups would warm up in the sun and be just right, but it's still a little bit cloudy. Anyways, that's Miss Teal at birth, 0.7 pounds, and right now is 3.88 pounds. So next we've got Purple. Okay, come on, Miss Purple.
You got a crazy ear. It's all folded over.
There you go. She had the crazy ear moment after waking up, huh? So Purple was 0.72 pounds at birth and is now 4.34 pounds. So she's the biggest of the females. At birth, she was also solid with a very slight groin marking. We don't see any markings, like I mentioned, at this time as far as that goes. So from all indications at this point, Miss Purple is the solid pup still. And so, like I mentioned earlier, Purple wants to be a leader. Between all of the litter mates, boys and girls combined, Miss Purple and Mr. Green are kind of vying for a top spot amongst their litter mates. So she's a confident pup and assertive, and asleep. She's still a sweetie pie, isn't she? Yes, look at that. Just darling, just as darling as can be. So she's also a little bit lighter than Purple, but not a light colored pup.
The same as Pink. Or about the same as Teal, I mean, right?
Yeah, about the same as Teal. So beautiful coat color as well, aren't ya? Yes. Okay, moving on to the boys. We're going to start down the list as well. So we've got Mr. Red, and we'll pull him out of the pile here. So at birth, Mr. Red was 0.77 pounds, and currently he's the smallest out of the litter at 2.9 pounds. So not quite 3 pounds, but almost.
He's getting there.
Yep. He's doing good. So he had the solid chest and a very slight neck and groin marking. So on the neck, I'm not seeing anything right now. The neck would be an area we might be able to see some light hairs because that's a little bit longer than what's on their chest, and we're just not seeing anything there right now. Mr. Red is the darkest of the litter, so he's got the darker coat all the way around, and so besides being the smaller one, he's the darker one. And I will mention that he had a small injury on his knee right there, and that's healed up just fine. He had, I suspect that may not be visible when his adult coat comes in. It's quite long. It'll kind of fold over that, but you may see that depending on how he's laying as he gets a little bit older. So personality wise, Mr. Red is small, but he's still assertive. He's a middle of the road pup. Definitely middle of the road. I think if he were bigger, he might be trying to be a leader, but being the size he is, he can't necessarily throw his weight around as much as some of his big brothers do. But he definitely tries. He still have good energy and a great personality. So that is Mr. Red. And next we will go to Mr. Brown. Pull him out of the group. Okay, so here is Mr. Brown. So at birth he was also 0.77 pounds, and right now he's 3.1. So his markings, I think I told you red was the smallest of the group. Orange is actually smallest. I'm just looking at my list and correcting myself. Sorry about that. Anyways, back to Mr. Brown. Brown's 3.1 pounds. So he had kind of the line down his chest, and you can see that still. That was enough. Whoops. Oh, I just about lost you there.
Come back.
Good boy to stay put. So it was enough of a pronounced marking that it's still visible now with his puppy coat, and then his neck area. I'm not seeing anything there, and then he still has his markings on his back left and back right toes, so he'll still have those heavily marked toes. So personality wise, I would not say he's a submissive puppy or timid. He's more of a middle of the road. Oh, what a yawn. How adorable is that? I know. You ready for some puppy kisses? Yeah. So he's more of a middle of the road pup as far as personality. And then coat color, he's also middle of the road on the coat color. So that is Mr. Brown. And Mr. Green is next. So here we go, Mr. Green. Okay. So you've probably noticed in the videos, Mr. Green has consistently been the bigger of the pups, and he maintains that status still. At birth he was 0.7 pounds, and right now he's 4.62 pounds. He still has his solid chest, no markings there. And then as far as his neck goes, at birth his neck had the very slight marking. I'm not seeing any indication that would be more pronounced than earlier, and we're not really seeing any groin markings right now. So Mr. Green, like I mentioned earlier with the girls, he's trying to be the leader with Purple. So out of the boys, I would say he's the more assertive, confident male of the boy pups. And just still a great personality. He's just really fun to play around with. And he has great energy and a lot of personality. So that is Mr. Green. So on to our next pup. We can pull him out here without disturbing the whole pile here. We got Mr. Orange. So if I can pull him up here and without disturbing your slumber too much, Can I set you up here so you can be the star of the show? There we go. So Mr. Orange, at birth he was 0.72 pounds, and currently he's 2.84. So he's just behind Mr. Red Insides. So still the solid chest and whatnot. We're not seeing anything new there, and we're not seeing any of the groin markings at this age. At birth we noticed he may have had some very slight marked underside of his paws, but we're not seeing anything there. So he has a good, nice coat color. He's middle of the road as far as color goes. And then personality goes, he is also middle range of the boy pups. I would say he's the one that's probably going to be what I would consider the more submissive out of the boys, for his size and whatnot. But he's not necessarily a scaredy cat or super submissive or anything like that. They just start to establish their hierarchy amongst their litter mates, and he's the one that has been content to be more of a follower instead of a leader. So that is Mr. Orange. And back to your nap. How's that, Bubba? Okay. Next we've got Mr. Yellow coming up.
Here underneath.
He's buried in the pile. Come on. Come on. Yeah, sorry to wake you up, but you get to be the star of the movie for a minute. Here we go. So, Mr. Yellow. So at birth he was 0.66 pounds, and he is currently 4.4 pounds. Oh yes, you did a adorable yawn too, huh? With
those so tired.
Tiny mouth, but those oh so sharp teeth, huh? Yes, you guys get these little tiny shark teeth when you're this age. So Mr. Yellow, still the solid color that we've seen all along, and then he continues to be the lighter out of all of the pups combined, boys and girls. He's the lightest one. He's not the lightest pup that we've seen coming through our lines, but out of this litter mate, or these litter mates, then he happens to be the lightest of the bunch. So personality wise, he is in a group of these brothers that are trying to be leaders. Mr. Green has established himself at the moment as wanting to be the leader and is currently at the top of the pack, but Yellow is in the group that is trying for that position. Do you like my fingers? Yes, they're a fun chew toy. He's not a pushover with his brothers, so he is in the group. I would say he's probably what I would say number 3 of the boys as far as personality goes and assertiveness. If he keeps trying, he might be able to become kind of the leader of the group if Green settles down a little bit, but he's kind of middle of the road personality wise. So that is Mr. Yellow. And next we have Mr. Blue. I'll try to lay you down and let you settle in. He might get up and go play. He's feeling more awake. We'll see. He might be the one that just walks over the top of everybody to wake him up. Mm-hmm. So this is Mr. Blue. And At birth, he was 0.83 pounds, and he is currently 4.27 pounds. And he had the very slight underside of his paws that looked to be a little bit lighter. That might still be the case. We're seeing some of that. But on his chest, we're just seeing the normal cowlick look and not really anything on his neck or anything there. So Mr. Blue, I would say he is second in the hierarchy to Mr. Green. He tries to be the leader at times, and depending on the day, then he might be ahead points wise, if you want to call it that. But Mr. Green continues to be the leader, and Mr. Blue is right up next to him, vying for that position. So an assertive personality, and just really fun to play with, and still very cuddly and cute. So that is Mr. Blue. Oh, coat color. I forgot that on him. I would say he's just a tad darker than yellow, but he is a little bit lighter than some of the other boys. So middle of the road as far as color goes compared to his brothers. So that is Mr. Blue. And last but not least, we've got Mr. Gray. Wake you up, Mr. Gray. Sorry to disturb you. We'll put you down in a minute, but you get to be the star of the show. So many of you have been following Mr. Gray. He's got his own little fan club with his 3 toes. When I see him, I kind of call him the 3-toed amigo. So he's just a fun pup. I have not seen any visible, noticeable physical limitations based off of that missing toe. He seems to have grown and not known anything otherwise without having that one there. So his balance seems fine. He seems to do just fine with running and playing with his litter mates. He had the wide stripe on his chest, and can you stick your head up there for a little bit, mister? So we can still see a hint of that here. So I think that's going to stay with him. And then he had a very slight marking on his neck. And I'll see if I can tip you back without dropping you. Don't wiggle too much. I can't really get a good look of the neck on him. That I would plan on that being there as an adult, but it's hard to see that on his coat right now. He's got the thin enough coat color. But he had the heavy marked groin, and his was heavily marked enough that I can still see some of that coming down both sides. So he'll be marked there as well. So leader wise, despite being a 3-toed amigo, he's still, I would say I'd put him at number 4 amongst the 7 boys. So he's a middle of the road personality. He did happen to be the last one to warm up to a new scenario here when we brought him up to the pavilion. I don't know if you could see that in the play video from before, but he was a little bit reserved and hesitant with this new environment that we brought him to. So it's not necessarily a defect, just something actually to be aware of with all the pups when they go to someplace new like your home and experience everything. Just kind of let them soak it in for a little bit and let them warm up to the new environment and people and everything around them, and then everything will turn out good. So we're actually up here at the pavilion today and brought them up here to do the video. We've got a couple of families coming, and so thought we'd do the video while we're waiting for them to come. So when we brought him up today, Mr. Gray wasn't reserved one bit. He remembered being up here and had a positive experience up here yesterday with it, so he wasn't anxious or anything about being in the new environment. So he's just done great and played like the other pups have. And that's why they're all tuckered out at the moment. But just a fun personality too with Mr. Gray. So that is Mr. Gray. I don't think I went through his weight. Right now, well, at birth he was 0.59 pounds, and right now he's almost 4 pounds. The scale stopped at 3.99. It had bounced up above 4 while he was wiggling on the scale, but then it rested at 3.99. So he's just about 4 pounds at the moment. So that is Mr. Gray. And last but not least, he finishes up the introduction to all these pups and more details about them. So we know picking a puppy is kind of a big deal, and sometimes it may be hard to decide between all these pups when you've got especially 7 boys to start from. Oh, I got a bee flying around me. I got stung yesterday, and I've been stung plenty, so we'll watch the pups and hold still and not try to make ourselves a big target for the bee. So we know selecting a pup is a big deal, and you might have a hard time picking between 2 of them. So we're happy to answer questions if you've got just the last 2 pups to decide between and try to pick which one feels like the best fit for your family. For some family, it's an easy decision to make, and that's totally fine too. But if you're just having a hard time deciding between a couple of them, let us know, and we'll do our best to share any potential minor differences between the 2. And obviously we are biased and feel like you can't go wrong with any of these pups, but everybody's priorities and what they're looking for in their pups and things like that are different. So we hope this provided the information that you're looking for, and let us know if you have any other questions. We'll talk to you later.